Welcome to the latest installment of the Run to Daylight podcast. I'm your host, Todd Burrows, and today I will be doing a live FFPC draft. I am not posting it live because I don't want to be sniped, but I do want to show you guys exactly what I do. The plan is to do about 10 rounds live and then stop and focus on the rest of my draft. And then I am going to come back for a second episode, either later today or tomorrow, where I go through the rest of my picks and some of the other teams in the draft to give you guys my thoughts on FFPC and how to draft on the FFPC with best ball. What are some good builds? What are some bad builds? Speaking of the FFPC, listen up, fantasy players. You crush your home, office, and family leagues every year, so it's time to take it the next step to fantasy glory. The FFPC is where you need to play fantasy football this summer. No salary caps, no DFS, no new formats to learn, just pure drafting fun that you've loved for years. The FFPC is home to not one, but two $1 million grand prizes. Draft in the FFPC main event or in the Fantasy Pros Championship. Manage your team and chase down those seven-figure payouts. Or, as we're doing today, check out the FFPC's other great leagues, including this best ball tournament. You can play Dynasty and a ton more. Dozens of leagues going off every day, every hour, every minute. Go to myffpc.com. Yep, that's it, myffpc.com, to check out all the goodies and to come chase with me the big prizes. So today I'm aiming for a $200,000 prize. I'm going to share my screen with you. You'll see everything I see. I have the 10th spot. I have not set my key yet. The first team is on the block. So 1, 2, 3. Those of you who've seen me do this before, you know how I do it. I fill my queue ahead of time with all the guys that I might want. Lamb, Chubb, Amon-Ra, and then we'll see who makes it back. So plenty of picks to get to my first one. I love the 10 spot. I love the 9 spot. I'm going to be guaranteed two good stud players. You guys are now looking at the main screen, which is kind of boring, but I also need you guys to know that I am still finishing a weekly winners draft. So bonus coverage, boys and girls, bonus coverage. As you get to see, I reached for Justin Herbert. I've got 2 running backs, 4 wide receivers. So you will get bonus coverage. I am not going to take Quentin Johnson. One of my key things when you do weekly winners is I don't want multiple stacks, especially when the guys are expensive. Later on, I would consider it. Let's see. Who do I like here? I like Sky Moore. We will take him. And then let's see who makes it back. So I've got 2 good running backs. So I've got 5 good wide receivers. Let's see. Brian Robinson, I like a lot. A.J. Dillon, I should probably get more of. So one of those guys will be my. Now we go back here, and you see 3, 4, 5 to go. Very rarely do people fall in the FFPC drafts. I am right in front of Mongooses, who is one of the better players on this site. But I get to pick first in each of the rounds, so that should be good. Well, he comes back. No, I come back faster, so I'm okay with that. And now Brian Robinson. I'm going to go A.J. Dillon. I don't have as much touchdown dependent, but could put up a big week. And then I am now done until the next one. So I'm up next here. I don't have a lot of digs, but he went. CD, Amon-Ra. I've been doing a lot of Amon-Ra lately. I started light. Let's go Bijan. Let's go Amon Ra. I've got pretty good amount of Lamb. I'd like Bijan. I don't think he's going to make it back though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope. Mongoose has jumped all over that. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to go Garrett Wilson over Adams. I could go Andrews. That would be a little different. I've done a lot of Amon-Ra Wilson, Amon-Ra Pollard, Amon-Ra CD Lamb. You get the week 17 correlation with Lamb and Pollard. Let me jump back over here. 3, 4, 5, 6. Hate when this happens, especially when I'm recording. You'll notice I don't even want quarterbacks in my queue. I've got the only quarterback I'm probably going to take. Kincaid. A-Chain's hurt. He's going to drop. I don't want Jamison Williams, Jamal Williams, Nico. You got to really be on top of it this time of year because there's a lot of people who fall. I would consider Laporta. I would consider Jaylen Warren. He looked good. Jacoby Myers, Schultz, I like a lot lately. Mostert really moving up. All right. So I've got 3 running backs, 5 wide receivers. I could go wide receiver coming back. Typically, I will go fragile when I'm putting a bid on. So if I'm going to hit in weekly winners, it's going to be through Herbert and Mike Williams, which means I only need 2 more wide receivers. This is going to be a 6 or 7 team wide receiver. A.J. Brown went. I'm going to guess that one of the wide. Oh, he's not going to take a running back. So I'm going to say Wilson. Nope, he took Devontae. So I could go with Pollard for the correlation. I am really light on Saquon, and I think too light. So this draft will be a Saquon draft. I've been doing a lot of the early tight ends, but not going to do that here. Go against the week 17 correlation because I need some ownership on Barkley. 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13 through Hawkinson, Ramondre 14, Jacobs 15, Ridley 16, DK 17, Mixon 18, Lamar 19, Keenan Allen 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10 is 18. I've got 20, so I would consider Debo with one of these picks. Keenan I've got in there. Najee, no. I'm a little down on Cooper lately. I'm not going to take Breece Hall. I will consider Waller for one of the picks. I will consider Judy. Burrow, no. I didn't. Herbert, no. Herbert, the only way I would take Herbert is if I got Keenan Allen. So that's set. Now I'll head back over here. I'm 1 pick away. And it's a 1-3-5. I could go with Kincaid for my first tight end. Nico, I'm pretty high on Bigsby. High on Mostert, who's been moving up a lot. All right, let's go Kincaid. Get an upside tight end. Let's see who makes it back here. So I've been doing a lot of zero running back on the FFPC lately. Taking Barkley obviously takes me out of that, but that's okay. You want to mix up your ownership. And what I mean is, this is my ownership. So you can see Barkley, I'm down at 4%. That's just too low, 4.76. 4 overall, only 4.76. That's a little low for a guy who's got as big a role as Barkley. So you'll see that. And then let's go Amon Ra. I'm up to 11%. You can see in early best ball, I didn't have much. I have a lot more in late best ball. I've been hitting him pretty hard lately. Let's go back to, I'm on the clock here. I could go with Mr. Bigsby, who I think's good, but let's go Mostert. We're looking for big scores. In weekly winners, you're looking for big scores. So I think Mostert could have that 25, 30-point game. More likely than Bigsby, as long as ETN is healthy. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't want Lazard under any circumstances in this. Komet, okay, 6, 7. No Taysom Hill. Valdez Scantling. Elijah Mitchell, Damian Harris. So you see how frustrating this can be when it moves. Rashee Rice, very good for this format. Everett, again, I'll put him in here, but I'm not taking him unless I get a value. Gallup is good for this. Gainwell is good for this. Higbee. So I've got 15 names. I'm 16 picks away. Mims I like, but is there anyone who I really like that might fall? All right, so now we come back over here and we see what's going on with the FFPC draft. These solo drafts that I do, they now have the ability to pause. I might at some point try doing that. You'll notice with StreamYard, they've added, I haven't looked how to do it yet, but here it is, a pause button. So I could actually pause and come back when I'm next on the clock. So that's a pretty interesting thing for when you're doing these by yourself and there's no one else to talk to, and especially like now when I'm on the corner. But by the time we get through 10 rounds, I'll have just probably finished this weekly winners. And, there won't be much of a overlap. You can see that I've got tons of teams active. I'm up to I'm doing 4 with this one guy, a few with BIP. I've got my own. You could see this is Team 38. I've got a deep end draft coming up. And one more. My last one was Shane Hallam. And you see that there are still 3,475 openings. They've been going through about 200 a day. It's going to be close on whether there's overlay here. I'm sure last minute, if it looks like there is, they'll have a discount, and I'll be forced to get back into my money. All right, so let's see who makes it to me. I really like Ramondre still. I know Zeke is going to take some of his action, but Ramondre was a top 10 running back last year. I don't have a lot of Metcalf. I'm still woefully short on Keenan Allen, and he looks healthy. I'm down to 3% on Keenan Allen. So I think it's better to take a wide receiver here. I'm going to take Keenan Allen. And then Justin Herbert, it would be a little early for him, but I really like him this year. And I'm only 6% because his weapons are hard to get a hold of. So I think I'm going to take Herbert if he makes it back. That'll open up Denver for week 17. And it'll be a little bit of an unusual build. Yes, I will have it earlier than others, but there's no way he makes it back to me when he's already right here, especially with Mike Williams around. Boy, these guys are taking a long time to pick. All right. So I'm up. 7 seconds left. Tyler Algier. Step right up. Did I get him? Yes. All right. So I pick again. So now I'm at 155. I think I'm going to go with a wide receiver here if the one I like makes it. If not, I'm going to take Roschon. So it's either Gallup or Roschon here. Gallup has that big playability that you like in weekly winners, and Roschon is a favorite of mine. And Gallup made it back. Let's look down a little bit. I'm going to take Roschon. There's other wide receivers that I can get. All right, so now I'm at 1-6, but I've got 6 pretty good ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't mind the 7th. So we'll go with Zeke in there. Thielen, no. Chig, yes. Dulcich, yes. Nice spike potential there. Rondell, yes. Pierce, yes. Mingo, yes. Tank Dell's really moved up a lot. Starting to lose interest there. I do have some nice Tank Dell. Not so much. You'll notice I haven't uploaded my weekly winners ownership. I don't care about it as much. Ferguson, I like. DPJ, I like a lot. Musgrave, I like a lot. Obviously, Tajay, I like a lot. I'm not going to put Wilson and Mostert together, although you could here. I like Shaheed. I think Jaden Reed is interesting. So that should be plenty of players. So I am up here finally, and I am going to take Justin Herbert. Let's open up the draft board. And you can see that I've got 2 wide receivers, a running back, and a quarterback. Not great value. So I do like to mix my value with my reaching. So, I am open to value more than I was. Watson, Kittle, Hopkins, Moore, Fields, Walker, Pitts, Goddard, McLaurin, Drake London, Mike Williams, Lawrence, no. Pierce, yes. Kirk, yes. Well, I got Madison, even though I'm not going to take him. Let's get him out. Ayuk, yes. Rashad White, yes. Javonte Williams, Akers, Dobbins. I should have more than enough. Lockett. So I've got 23 players, so I've got more than enough. I'm going to take out the quarterbacks because I'm just not going to take them. I mean, even I probably would take Fields if he was a super deal. But, all right, we got plenty there. You see we're 8 picks away over here. I'm now at a 1-6-5-1. And definitely I'm going to take 2 more tight ends, another wide receiver, probably another running back. But with Chig and Dulcich both here, Jawan Johnson has been really playing well. Ferguson, we're definitely getting at least 1 tight end here, maybe 2. Yeah. All right. So I don't want to go too much into what other people are doing. I will cover that in the second podcast. But you can see it moves along. Judy, who was in my queue, lasted to 411. It's very flat. Once you get to the end of the second round through the early to mid 4th, very flat. All right, let's head back over to weekly winners. We're on 4 picks away. Obviously, you've got the shorter clock on weekly winners, so things tend to come up quicker. And I'm definitely, ooh, there goes Chig. I wanted Chig. That's okay. There's still some other good ones. Dulcich is still good for weekly winners, but he's falling. So the guy that I'm looking at is Fergie. I have this weird superstition. If I open it up, they're not going to take the guy that I want. And in this case, it worked out. You can see the lag for some reason. Now I've got 2 tight ends. Bye weeks is another factor. There's a fifth and there is strategy, but I haven't done it in this draft. I'm more chasing value in the types of players I want than stacking up bye weeks. A lot of guys are stacking up bye weeks, so I don't know that there is as much of a edge. Now, Taysom is interesting because when he has a week, it's a big week. I'm not counting on him with the other tight end. I'll probably take a 4th tight end. So if Taysom's here, I'm going to take him. I think Irv is interesting. I think Musgrave is interesting. All right, so I am up. Taysom made it. And there we go. All right. So Irv I can add. Don't want Foreman or Singletary. Gus, Reed, Hunt I could put in. Kendra I could put in. I'm not interested in Conklin in this build, or Shakir or Parker. Richie James is interesting. Nicole Hardman's interesting. Jerome Ford is interesting. Troop is interesting. Isaiah Likely is interesting. Hunter Renfro is interesting. Mechie, not as much. Slayton is interesting. And you could see that the running backs have gotten real thin. But I've got 6. So I really don't feel that I have to take another running back. So I have a surprise 18th round pick I'm going to take here. And if you watch this pod, you're going to get a chance to see one of my weekly winners strategies that I don't talk about much. I prefer if you see this, you take the advantage that I'm showing you, but not talk to me about it on Twitter. So this is an advantage to some of you who actually come on. So I like having a good tight end. So Kittle and Pitts are very interesting. If I don't get Pitts, Drake London is interesting. Mike Williams would have been interesting if he had made it. Dameon Pierce is always interesting to me. But I've got a lot of Pierce now. I don't have as much Rachaad White. Getting texted. So Pitts went. I don't have hardly any Kittle. So, if he's available here, he will be the pick. This is where I will look at the draft board. Andrews. So Plukes doesn't have a tight end. I'm thinking I'm not going to get Kittle. It won't be the end of the world if I don't. McLaurin, Drake London, both higher up my list than anyone else. So there goes McLaurin. So it'll be Kittle or London for me. I wonder what his ADP is, Kittle. ADP of 49. So this is a pretty good deal. This is when you want to do it, right? So his normal ADP is 49. That means that the end of the 4th round is 48. We're almost at the end of the 5th round. So almost a full round of value on George Kittle. Let's look at what Mongooses is doing. I should have done that. He has Lamar, 2 running backs, and a wide receiver. I think he's going to take Drake London here, and he did. So how good am I? When you have a good player and you're between 2 people, a lot of times the guy who you take doesn't make it back to you. I wouldn't mind the second running back here, whether it's Pierce or White, Akers or Dobbins. Lockett is still there. Deontay Johnson. Is there anyone else a little lower? Pickens, I don't have a lot of. San Francisco, so Washington, Giants, so Rams. So I'm talking about week 17 correlations. I'm almost up here. And you see a lot of the guys I would have wanted didn't make it back. Do like Puka. Let's see. So Pierce went. So one of the guys I really like, but I've got a lot of Pierce. All right. So Godwin and Ayuk both went. Deontay's there. I really want a wide receiver here more than I do a running back, but the running backs are the value. The tiebreaker is I've got Barkley and Akers. It's not the ideal correlation. What happened there? Oh, Jaden Reed was my pick by automation. I don't want either of those guys. Oh, come on. Where did he go? What did I just do? I'm on the clock in 2 places. Knox. Let's move him up. I'll take Knox as my 4th tight end. Dobbins is really more interesting to me. I don't have a lot of White. Let's just do Akers. I've been adding a lot of Akers lately. He's a 3-down back possibly at times. So let's finish this up. So Knox is my 4th tight end. So I've got one quarterback, 6, 6, 4, 12, 16, 17. All right, here you go. You want to see? There's my sneaky strategy for this. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I don't want Watson, 15. Don't want Freiermuth, 16, 17, 18, 19. Don't want Addison, 20. Don't want Dalvin, 22, 23. I don't want Tua in this one. Gibson's okay. Quentin Johnson. See, I would be interested in him now because he's fallen some. Elijah Moore. And then you see I go down a little more, see if there's anyone else I'm missing. And that is that. All right, so we're going to do a few more rounds. So the theory is you have the 18th round pick is unlikely to really help you take down the money, but the backup quarterback to your starter, if he plays a game and has a big game with Mike Williams, then what you've got is a huge advantage because he's going to be almost 0% owned in this tournament. And with 20,000 up front, my bet is already on the Chargers with Herbert. So if he goes down for a few games and Stick has a big game with Mike Williams, I'm sitting in a really good position. So that's the new strategy. I am not publicizing it anywhere but right here. And then let's get away from that. You can see I've already done 30 minutes, so this will be a nice sized podcast. When we get to the end of round 10. So that's as far as I'm going to take this. I am actually going to pause the timer. I'm going to try that. I'm going to pause the timer when I'm recording, and then I am going to come back right when I am about to pick the next two times. All right, we're back. And that worked pretty good. So looks like that's working. You can see I'm up. I'm interested in value at this point. And so Trevor Lawrence seems like a pretty big value. Using Fantasy Mojo site, he normally goes at 510. Did he die or something? Let's go to Twitter. Still there. I do not see any injuries. I got to take him if he's there. Wow. So that makes this a 2 QB build. I mean, this is 2 full rounds of value. I can't pass on that. Engram is still there. What's his name? Zay Jones is still there. I wasn't planning on taking my second quarterback, but wow. All right. And there goes Engram. Come on, Mongooses. Cut me some slack. Oh, he needed a tight end. But that's okay. I really didn't need a second tight end, and I don't love Engram. So, and I can get Zay Jones later. Hopefully. And if not, the FFPC stacking and correlating is far less important than value in my playbook because of the way that it works, where you get two teams through, and then two teams through, and then three teams through. I could take Quentin Johnston, but I think Michael Pittman is a far better pick. One of my favorite picks, one of my favorite values. The assumption is that he's not going to be all that good because Richardson isn't good, and I don't subscribe to that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't want Cousins. Quentin Johnson 7, Sky Moore 8, Dak, Brian Robinson 9, Elijah Moore 10. Not taking Dylan 11. Herbert I'll put in. Burks I'll put in. Schultz I'll put in. Michael Thomas, who I have very little of, I'll put in. Sutton I'll put in. P. Ryan I'll put in. Charbonnet I'll put in. No Richardson, no Jones. Higbee, sure. With Barkley and Akers. Kadarius Toney, yes. Penny, no. H.A., no. Goff. I mean, I was planning on taking Goff to go with Herbert, but as you could see, I got Lawrence at 710, and his average ADP is 510. I mean, that is literally two rounds of value on a premium quarterback. I just don't know how you let that go. So the build right now is 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs. Typically, I like to have a couple good tight ends, but with them being good late and my having 2 quarterbacks, I am more likely to just build out my wide receivers and my running backs for a while. Even though Kittle is kind of hit or miss. So if there is a tight end value, I'm not going to pass on it. Let's see where Zay Jones normally goes. 146. So this pod will be over by then. The end of the 10th is 120. That's a little too much to reach, most likely. But let's put him in there just in case there's nobody I really like and I'm willing to reach a little. I think his ADP is going to go up because he's been playing more. And I don't use on screen too much of Mojo's stuff. Hopefully, Darren, if you see this, you're not mad at me. And you guys, if you're following this and you play on the FFPC and you don't have Darren's stuff at fantasymojo.com, you are absolutely doing it wrong. So there, Darren, I tried to. I normally don't have the whole screen open, but I do this time. So there was no way to just hide it. It comes with the fact that my StreamYard is on here and my FFPC is on Chrome. Long story, not worth explaining on the pod. All right, I'm going to take another break. And I'm going to come back and make the last 2 picks. All right, we're back. We are now 5 picks away. And since you guys won't see this till after, number 1 guy I would like is Pirine. I like him this year. Gives me my 3rd running back. He gives me the correlation with my Chargers stack. Let's see. Gibson's fine. I like Elijah Moore. I'm really not seeing the wide receivers that I would like. And this is the case where now there's Bateman. Beckham and Collins. I like both of them. All right, Pirine made it, so that's very good news. Now let's see who the Mongooses take. The Mongooses took my Elijah Moore. Is there another wide receiver that I really like? Let's see who's going to be here in 24. So 1, 2, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So Zay should make it back. Zay should make it back. Prescott, no. Brian Robinson. I've got 3 running backs now. I like Dalton Schultz. I like Tony. But do I like Tony as a 4th wide receiver? I think I like him more as a 5th wide receiver. Here goes Dak. There's really nobody. I guess Bateman is. I also like Chig. That would give me. See, the good thing about Schultz is that Kittle's hit or miss. So's Chig. I like Chig. Higbee isn't. I just don't think I like Higbee as much as those guys. But Schultz is really interesting. But there's a lot of interesting tight ends will come up a little later. There goes A.J. Dillon. I mean, Penny is not. I mean, Penny's a pretty good 4th running back. He took Bateman. So he took the guy that I kind of liked. This is really pushing up Raheem Mostert. But I'm going to do it. Fuck it. So now I've got 4 running backs. I got 3 wide receivers. I think I'll be okay at tight end. So I'm looking at maybe Zay and a tight end on my next one. You will see it next time when I show the rest. But that's going to do it for the live version where you get to see my thoughts. And I will talk to you guys soon.